What is poppin', people? PTC here, bringing you guys another Raw review. This one is for October the 12th, 2015. So we're going to jump right into it. This show was pretty underwhelming, if you ask me. I think they took a step back from last week. I thought last week's show was pretty okay, and this week's show was pretty below average. And I was kind of disappointed in how it all turned out. It was tough to get through it. It was really tough, and I watched all 3 hours of it in one sitting, which was also very tough. So we're gonna go ahead and jump through it. I'm gonna do my best to let you guys know everything that happened, and we'll see how it goes. So anyway, the show starts with a very cheesy phone call from Stephanie and Triple H. It looked like something they would have done in the early '90s. Which kind of bugged me a little bit. I thought it was a little outdated. It was a little weird. I didn't really appreciate it too much, but it was a cheesy start with the phone call. Stephanie and Triple H said that their flight was canceled or delayed or something, um, so they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be at the arena tonight until very late. So that was how Raw started. Then Kane calls in a stage manager or something, and she's wearing a schoolgirl outfit, which just looks ridiculous. I didn't understand why she was wearing that. They could have just had her wearing a T-shirt that had WWE on it. I mean, like a collared shirt with a pocket that has WWE on the pocket. Like a professional-looking shirt, like we know that they probably wear, not some schoolgirl outfit. Um, Smiling Kane is fantastic. I really think that Corporate Kane has turned it around as far as being a character because people hated him, and now I think that the smiling Corporate Kane I think he's great. I think it's the best Kane's been in a long time. So Kane announces that the main event for tonight is going to be Seth Rollins versus Kane. WWE doesn't want these ratings. That's the first thing I thought, is that they don't care about the ratings. They just don't care. Because how many people, as soon as they heard that, tuned out of Raw? Not to mention how many people tuned out of Raw at the third hour when they knew that all was going to happen was Kane and Seth Rollins. You're not giving us anything that we want to see. Not to mention, you're giving us the matches that we care about or are supposed to be caring about on Raw for free. You're not giving it to us on the pay-per-view. So why do we care about watching Seth Rollins and Kane wrestle again if we've already seen it 3 or 4 times now or more? So it really kind of irked me that they decided to do that, but that's the way that they've been lately. It's been a downhill spiral from for a long time, and it just told me that they don't care about the ratings too much, because if they did, they would give you a fresh main event, not Seth Rollins and Kane in a lumberjack match, and it was just, I don't know, I didn't like it. So Dean Ambrose comes out to technically open the show with a promo. That was fresh. It was different. It was unique. I actually thought it was good. I took notes on it, and I said Ambrose looks comfortable and feels fresh. And he looked really comfortable out there talking, and I thought it was different. I thought it was nice to see Ambrose get out there and get some time. Um, I did take a note that he looked at a fake watch on his wrist twice, which is weird. I mean, it's just one of those little things that I caught, and I was like, why did he do that twice? He did it when he's telling Triple H that it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. Let's go, get here. And then he said it's time for a fight or something like that, and he looked down at it again. So it was pretty weird. Anyway, Randy comes out. Randy Orton. His music hits after Dean Ambrose says it's time for a fight. Randy comes out, and there are very, very loud Randy chants. And this whole time I was thinking, wow, how far has Dean Ambrose fallen? Because Dean Ambrose was hot. If you guys don't remember, a few months ago, Dean Ambrose was on top of the WWE. He was the hottest thing going. He truly was. And now he's getting louder pops, or we're getting louder pops from Randy Orton than Dean Ambrose. That's rough. And the one thing that really, really bothered me was, okay, so Randy Orton, we're making him a bigger star than Dean Ambrose, as Randy Orton's been there for 10 years and Ambrose is actually new and up and coming. But we've created a scenario in which Randy Orton is still a bigger star than somebody that we should be putting over as a future star of the business, if not a star right now. So that was kind of annoying. Not to say I don't like Randy. Um, Not to say that I don't like Randy, because I love Randy Orton. I think he's great. But to me personally, I just I don't know. I just wish that Dean was more over than Randy at this point in their careers, because I feel like he should be. I feel like if they were creating new stars, then Dean would be more over than Randy. Um, this promo went on forever. It was just Randy announces that they are going to have a match at Hell in a Cell: Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton versus Luke Harper and Braun Strowman. And I'm like, why? Why? Why are we doing this? You want to have Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper? Go for it. Why is Randy Orton in this feud? Why does Randy Orton care? Randy he's just a guy. He shouldn't care about this feud. This feud shouldn't matter to him. But nonetheless, that's what we're getting. It's going to be on the pre-show. They can't even find a place for this match on the card. Dean Ambrose has gone from a main eventer to making it on the pre-show. Barely. Anyway, this promo is very long-winded, and a long-winded promo still starts Raw. And I put Y in all capital letters because why does Raw have to start with the long-winded promo? Dean Ambrose couldn't just go out there and say, hey, I'm looking to kick somebody's ass, somebody come down here and fight me. And then have somebody come out and they have a match. No, instead of that, instead of starting Raw on a cool note, we start Raw with Randy Orton coming out and being boring. Then out comes the New Day. Don't you dare be sour. Clap for the greatest thing going in all WWE and feel the power. I got a chuckle out of that. I thought that was funny. Because I thought they were ribbing, I thought they were kind of ribbing at creative backstage for not really caring about them at the beginning. Because they are the greatest thing in the WWE right now. As much as people are starting to get tired of them, I'm not. I think it's actually good heel work, because the more they talk, the more people are going to hate them, because people hate long-winded promos. If it's the only way to get them over as heels, then do it. So for them to come out and cut long-winded promos, I mean, it's just a way for them to get heel heat. I did not mind it. They come out and they say, we thought you were supposed to be Ambrose, like they were supposed to be bros. I got a chuckle out of that too. Some of the things they said were cheesy, but I still thought they were funny. By the way, Ambrose and Orton had some like argument about who was gonna beat up Luke Harper and Strowman first or something. I don't know. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was a dumb rift in their team. I don't know. It was stupid. Big E continuously gyrates his hips throughout the whole thing, just about, and that was great. They ribbed Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton by saying that they are the greatest group ever. They said that they took out John Cena, they took out the Dudley Boys, and they took out Dolph Ziggler. And they said, did the Shield do that? And then Dean was like, oh yeah, well, whatever. He just said something back to him. He didn't say it with the mic, so we didn't really know what he said, but he just yelled back at him. Then they said, Randy, did the Authority do that? Did Evolution do that? Did Legacy do that? And I was like, wow. They actually mentioned Legacy. That's insane. They should probably never mention Legacy again. So, essentially, what happens is they rib Randy and they call Randy a groupie, and they just get, they're just getting their heat on Randy. And then Kane comes up on the Jumbotron, and it sounded like a pre-recorded public service announcement to me. What was funny about it was he said that he had a poster in his office that said, if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And I thought that was funny. I think Kane with his posters I think it's actually funny. So that was something, I guess. But anyway, basically he says that they're going to have a a tag team match right there. The New Day versus Randy Orton and Ambrose. Ambrose and Orton take early control, but you could see where this match was going. You knew immediately because of the way the promo went that it was going to be an inadvertent, an inadvertent attack on either Randy or Dean by the other, and it would essentially lead to New Day winning the match. It was pretty obvious going in, and it's exactly what happened. Some notes that I took on it: they took early control after a commercial break. Orton hit a drop kick that was just fantastic because Orton hits some of the best drop kicks in the WWE. Big E working in the corner with Xavier Rhodes with the trombone was fantastic. The crowd was completely dead for this whole match. There was a top rope drop kick by Dean Ambrose that got a big pop, and then it just kind of died again. Stomping Big E, tagging in and out was Orton and Dean were doing Orton's signature stomp, and they kept tagging in and out, and I was like, are they trying to be the New Day? And then they just kept tagging each other in and out, but they weren't tagging each other. They were kind of slapping each other on the back and saying, I'm coming in to stomp on him. I'll show you that I can stomp on him better. It was pretty weird. I don't know. But essentially, I mean, it was just nothingness. But Randy and Dean start to turn on each other and start to argue, and I was thinking to myself, where's the 5 count, ref? Isn't the guy supposed to get out of the ring at 5? The guy can't just sit in the ring and argue with his partner because he's supposed to be on the ropes, on the apron. But, of course, there's no logic or continuity in the WWE's rules, so we didn't get any of that. So New Day start to take control, and then Kofi hits the Orton pose, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is great. Then there was a rest hold, and Ambrose gets the crowd up for a second. It was Big E doing an abdominal stretch on Orton. Ambrose pretty much jumped up to the top rope and had to yell at the crowd to get them excited. So that, I guess, was the only way you could do it. Big E then hits the Orton pose and gyrates his hips, which was great. And then essentially what happens is Orton gets pushed into Dean. Dean goes straight through the ropes and knocked out of the ring, and Kofi rolls up Orton and gets the win. Honestly, I knew where this match was going from the promo they cut before. It was not a special match. New Day is not extremely exciting in the ring. Xavier Woods makes it much better. But as far as their in-ring work, that's never been their selling point. If I had to rate this match, I would give it like a 4. I mean, it was solid, okay match, but the crowd wasn't into it. It didn't make your tag team champions look strong. It didn't make Orton and Dean look strong. It just, nobody got over to me. So it was just kind of a pointless match. Next up, we had a Lesnar vignette, and I could care less. I could care less about Brock and Taker again. I don't want to see it. I don't care. I mean, neither of them have been there really to promote it. I mean, I know that they're both going to be there next week, but I really don't care at all. Really don't care at all. So, they show us that he beat Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. We already know that. They show us that Undertaker beat him at SummerSlam. We already know. I don't care. I just don't care. Then we get Nikki Bella and Brie Bella. And a 7-year-old in the crowd is holding up a Keep Calm and Love Nikki Bella poster. 7-year-old boy. The one thing that he brought to the whole show was a Keep Calm and Love Nikki Bella poster. What is happening with the world? What is wrong with society? This is why you can't book people as tweeners, because these people are supposed to be the bad guys, and this little boy is saying he loves Nikki Bella. It can't be because he watches Total Divas, because if he does, Nikki Bella's a complete bitch. He can't like her from that. You can't book people as tweeners. They show an NXT TakeOver Respect video, and I said they're basically showing everyone that it's 10 times better than Raw, which it is. We get Nikki Bella versus Naomi after they show the NXT TakeOver Respect video. First of all, we get two women that never came up through NXT after showing the NXT Respect takeover, whatever, that I thought was weird because these two women are actually bad workers. They're the last of the dying breed, hopefully, of divas on the roster. I just couldn't care about this match. It was completely awful. I felt like the video package kind of hurt Sasha a little bit. They showed Sasha losing in a big match, and I thought, it's weird because they really don't do that a lot. I mean, I guess they do, but I guess they don't show the results for those matches unless somebody big is in them. Like Owens, they showed Owens losing to Balor too, and I thought it kind of hurt him as well. But what do I know? It was weird to me that they decided to put two bad workers in the ring for this match. Nikki and Naomi are not the best workers in the world. I know a lot of people like Naomi and think she's the most athletic or whatever, but I think that's just commentary that pushes that. I don't think she's even close. Nor do I think she's even close to the best worker. I think that Charlotte and Becky are probably both 10 times better than her. She could be after them. No, because then there's Paige and Natalya. She can be after Paige, I guess, but that's way down the list. And Nikki Bella's awful. So it was just two bad workers in the ring putting on a very basic, annoying match. I didn't care for it. It's, why would we care? Why would we care at this point? We want Sasha chants all throughout the match, which of course the WWE was just attempting to get out of the crowd so the commentary could sell that. JBL, I believe, said that Nikki Bella had so much talent and she held the title for 300 days because of that talent. Please, just don't. Just don't. Then we have Brie Bella on the outside yelling, "Come on, Nikki," every 5 seconds, which is just completely just a pain to your ears. It's like nails on a chalkboard. This woman's voice, I don't know if she does it on purpose, just a different voice than her actual voice, but her voice is so shrill and so awful that it just makes me want to punch a child. I could not stand her outside the ring, and it's not because she's getting good heel heat. It's because I cannot stand her voice, and that doesn't make her a good heel. It doesn't make her a good heel. So the announcers start acknowledging we want Sasha chance and start talking about it, saying that will create a rift between the team, which I guess they're planting the seeds already for a breakup. Which in this case, honestly, they're the only team that really gets along aside from Nikki and her whatever team, I guess. Then Naomi hits Nikki with some pretty ugly kicks. This is the only thing I really wrote down about the ring, or about what happened in the ring. Naomi hits Nikki with some pretty ugly kicks. They look really bad to me. So yeah, that was, I guess, something. She hits her with a drop kick. That actually looked fine. Then Naomi goes over the top rope and hits a suicide dive, and that's the only time that she ever got a pop, which we're getting back to these Divas matches that have to have a big spot to get a pop instead of just wrestling, which is something that really bothered me. The whole reason NXT got over is not because they hit big, moves or hit big spots in their matches. It was because of the wrestling that they did, and that's why they got over. It's not because of the moves that they pulled off. So for me, this is kind of stepping away from the revolutionary, the revolutionizing the Diva division, because this isn't revolutionary. You've been doing this ever since, I can remember in the Divas division, with the women doing high spots and getting a pop, and then the crowd just going back dead again. So I thought that they kind of worked backwards there. I wish she wouldn't have done that. Then Brie Bella gets up on the announce table, grabs a mic, and starts yelling, "We want Sasha." And I honestly wish that somebody would have thrown a cup at her, or a small child, or a brick, or anything. Just throw anything at her. Honestly, just throw anything. So Sasha walks over and yanks Brie's leg off the table, and Brie hits her head on the ground pretty hard. I know it was probably just good selling, but it looked brutal, so I really appreciated how it looked. It looked great. Then somehow Nikki gets the upper hand and hits the rack attack for the win, and I could care less still. So Nikki gets a win. I assumed she would just start winning after she lost her title, and that's exactly what happens. So then we get a reminder for the Lumberjack match, and I see people that I don't want to see that are going to be on the outside. The main one being Kevin Owens. If you want to put over your champions, don't have them go out and be Lumberjacks in a Lumberjack match. They had Kevin Owens and the New Day out there. But where was John Cena? If John Cena's such a team player, if John Cena's this or that, I mean, where was he? If all your champions are going to be out there, then why is the one main champion not out there? Where was Randy? Where was Dean? Where was anybody? Where was Reigns? They're treating Kevin Owens like he's not as important as those guys. And to me, he's a main event caliber guy, so he shouldn't be out there. The same with Cesaro. They haven't booked Cesaro well, so I can see why they put him out there. But Owens? Save Owens. Keep him safe. Ryback wasn't even out there, I don't believe. So that bothered me. It bothered me bad. Next up, we have a Roman Reigns breast cancer video. Roman's talking has improved, but it's not perfect. I said that she talked better than Roman, honestly. So, I don't know. Then we have Payday's most unconventional nutty superstar. This segment needs to die. This was the one segment tonight that I wish I never would have seen. So, they go out and they ask people who the nuttiest superstar is. There's a few Dean Ambroses, and then there's a lot of Paige. Paige has done nothing nutty or unconventional since she's been up to the main roster. So I can't fathom why she is the nuttiest or most unconventional superstar in the company. It makes no sense. So there's a backstage segment with Byron Saxton and Paige, in which Byron asks Paige how she feels about it, and she says some crazy shit. And she takes a Payday bar out of Byron's pocket. I just can't do it. I can't do this with Paige. They've killed her. They killed her in this segment. They killed her. She's dead. The character that she should have been is dead. They killed her. Why don't they just let the Divas be themselves and not give them stupid things to do like Becky Lynch and Paige? And Natalya with the farting gimmick that she had. Why don't they just let them do cool things? Why? I just don't understand it. Anyway, next up we have Cena. And guess who's the only person in the whole entire night, pretty much, that didn't wear pink? Cena. Mr. Rise above cancer, rise above hate, rise above this, hustle, loyalty, respect. The face of the company is not wearing pink when you're trying to push this Susan B. Komen shit. But Cena won't wear pink. He refuses to wear rise above cancer shirts. Yeah, I realized that Owens didn't wear one. I realized that a couple of people didn't wear one. But his attire doesn't really matter. Owens wears his shirt every single week, and he's a heel. Roman Reigns didn't wear one, but Roman Reigns doesn't come out in a t-shirt every match. Cena does. It really bothers me that they expect us to care about cancer and care about curing cancer when they can't even be bothered to put their top star in a fucking pink t-shirt. But they'll put their heels in one. Nikki Bella and the Bellas are all wearing Rise Above Cancer shirts. And they're heels. Nothing says heel like, I want to beat cancer. Nothing says I'm the bad guy like, hey, let's team up to beat cancer. I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I'm saying that it's stupid booking. If you really want to put them over as heels, they shouldn't be wearing that. Do you want to put Cena over as a heel? Is that the plan? Because Cena wasn't wearing pink. It's just weird. Anyway, Cena cuts a promo about the city of Chicago and how he always gets a great reaction when he comes there, either good or bad, and it's just completely boring as fuck. And we've heard it so many times. We hear the same promo every time they're in Chicago. It's just boring. It's so boring. It's so stupid. Then he says, "You people appreciate excellence," and I'm thinking, is that why they boo the shit out of you every time you're in Chicago? Because they know what excellence is and they know that they're not looking at it when they see you in a ring. I mean, it's almost to a point to where it's just, what the fuck are you even talking about? I mean, what? Anyway, Cena pretty much buries Seth and the WWE Championship when he says, "As always, I'm the man to beat. If you want some, come get some." I don't think he understands the fact that he's holding a secondary title, which is actually good. Because you want these guys to feel like their title is the best and the most important, which is how Owens should be booked in his. However, you're burying Seth and his title, saying that Cena's the man to beat. I don't know. So, my next note was, fuck, it's Ziggler. Because you already know how this match is going to go. First of all, before Cena's music even hits, you already know how the open challenge is going to go anyway. You know Cena's not losing. There's no way. It just doesn't happen. So what the fuck is the point of having every single week somebody come out and job to Cena? What's the point? Why do we care about an open challenge that Cena always wins? Is there any reason to care? Is there any reason to care? Because every single week it's the same. Cena goes out. Cena has a match against somebody. That other guy puts on a good showing but loses. 2 LOL Cena wins always. I took some notes. I don't know why. The "Let's Go Cena sucks" chants, I always say this. They don't put over the opponents that Cena has. They don't put over Ziggler. Because they're not chanting "Let's go Cena, let's go Ziggler." They're chanting "Let's go Cena sucks." So it's all making it about Cena. They do it all the time, though, so it's not even anything that I can say. So then they stop the match for a marriage proposal in the crowd, which I truly think was a plant. I don't think that they actually... I don't know. I hate that. I can't think anything in WWE is genuine anymore. I thought it was weird. Weird timing. Weird everything. Maybe it was ribbing at Cena and Nikki. I don't know, but I just didn't think it was real. I don't know. I don't understand why you'd stop a match for it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, the match completely stops, and Cena turns around and sees it, and he calls him out and grabs a mic, and he says, "She said yes. Congratulations, dude, whatever." The crowd's not into this match. The crowd was so quick to turn to the marriage proposal. They were so fast to turn to anything else aside from watching this match. It's just what they weren't into it, to me. They just weren't. Then I wrote, Ziggler's back is really white, and he really should get a spray tan on both sides of his body if he's going to get a spray tan, because his back was super white. It's just something I noticed. Cena locks in an STF, and he's not even torquing his body or pulling him backwards. It's the worst STF I've ever seen, because it doesn't even look like it hurts. It looks like Cena's just sitting there with his arms around your face and not squeezing or pulling or anything. Looks like he's just sitting. It looks like a rest hold. Truly it does. So, it was just bad. Ziggler reverses it into a sleeper hold, which we all knew that wasn't going to win the match. Cena somehow pulls Ziggler up into an AA because LOL Cena always hits the AA. So Cena pulls him up out of the sleeper hold and hits a really awkward looking AA. It didn't look good, but then again, what's really looked good in a Cena match lately? There was a top rope DDT by Ziggler. That looked pretty cool. That was a cool turn. Or that was a cool move. That was a cool spot. Then Ziggler gets into the corner and starts tuning up the band, like Shawn Michaels. I was like, okay, are we getting heel Ziggler? Are we getting what Ziggler is this? What are we doing? First of all, I liked it. I thought it was a cool shout out to Michaels, especially with him being back next week. I thought it was pretty cool. But at the same time, I was thinking, what was the point of that? I mean, what was the point of the whole thing? Why like why? um. Anyway, Cena gets Ziggler up for an AA at some point, and Ziggler counters with the worst famouser I've ever seen in my life. He pretty much landed on Cena's head with his ass, which is not how that move is supposed to look. It was bad. It was rough. Then Cole said Cena went for the AA and turned it into an attitude adjustment, which I laughed at because it was just bad announcing. Then we got a very, very faint "This is awesome" chant, which was just the worst. I was like, this is not awesome. What are you talking? It was little kids, because you could tell by their voices. You could tell by how faint it was that it was just little children. And that was pretty much it. Then Ziggler goes to the top rope. He hit a roll through crossbody, as in every single John Cena match ever. Cena catches him, lifts him up over his shoulders, and lifts him up over his shoulders, and Ziggler rakes Cena's eyes. Then he hits him with a super kick. So every single wrestler in the whole company loses to this, except for John Cena. Cena kicks out at 2. Of course. Lol, 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 lol. So, moving on, punches are thrown back and forth. It's just, they're acting like they've been beating the shit out of each other all night, and they just keep throwing these punches. Like Ziggler can actually keep up with the guy that looks like Cena in a actual fight. So there was a random AA attempt through the punches. It was punching, and they were both acting fatigued, and then Cena just stops acting fatigued and then goes for an AA. It was just really weird. I didn't understand exactly why they decided to do that, but yeah, they did, and it was weird, and I didn't really appreciate it. Then we get a zigzag. Yeah, we get a zigzag. Ziggler headbutts Cena, and we get a zigzag. And then, of course, Cena kicks out because there was no chance that he was ever going to win. And Cena jumps straight up from the zigzag and hits an AA and wins the match. Just jumps straight up like it didn't even happen. Like the whole match didn't even happen. He just no-sold everything. And he jumped straight up in the air and hit him with an AA. And it was over. And I was like, what was the point of this whole match? Plus, what was the point of anything that happened throughout the match? It was just really pointless, and it just didn't make much sense. The booking of the match was stupid. Cena no-sold the whole match, and it was just rough. It was just really, really bad. If I had to rate this match, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It was just whatever. It was just a normal Cena match. Actually, I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because it's predictable Cena. It's not even good Cena. It's predictable Cena. It's not even unpredictable like Owens. It's predictable John Cena. Then we have, I forgot to rate Nikki Bella's 3. I guess. 3, whatever. It was awful. It was really bad. Next we had Smiling Kane talking to the Authority, which happened all night. He would, the Authority would call and he would tell him how everything's going. He said that it was going swimmingly, which I laughed at because nobody says that, so I thought it was funny. Then we get Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman announced. And I'm like, what? Why are we having this match? Why are we having this match tonight? It was just, it doesn't make sense. We'll get to it, though. We'll get to it. Next up, we have Dudley's versus the Ascension. I put ... who cares? And then I said meh. And then we get another commercial break at the end. The Dudleys essentially squashed the Ascension for God knows what reason. Because the Ascension should really be putting over the Dudleys, right? I mean, the Dudleys really needed that solid squash to really get over at this point, right? Whatever. Anyway, then we had Sheamus versus Barrett and Cesaro and Neville. It was a tag team match, Sheamus and Barrett versus Cesaro and Neville. They all got jobber entrances, which was just really weird to me. They all got jobber entrances. I didn't get it. These are 3 guys that you can build around with Barrett, Cesaro, and Neville, and you decide not to. You could build an Intercontinental title picture around 3 guys like this. Owens has a history with Cesaro. He doesn't have quite a history with Neville, but you can create one. They were both down in NXT. Owens can say he was the greatest NXT champion of all time. Neville disagrees. They fight about it. You can make a story out of it. And Barrett can jump in because he's Wade Barrett. Or he's Bad News Barrett, or he's King Barrett, or whatever Barrett of the month he is this month, I guess. But they all get jobber entrances. Neville and Cesaro take control early. Barrett botched a little bit because Cesaro was supposed to flip Neville over, and Neville was supposed to hit a cool, I guess, I don't know what it was. It was just a flip, and it looked really cool, but unfortunately, what happened was Barrett stuck his legs up because he didn't know how to sell it, and it really looked awful. It looked like he countered it, but Neville didn't sell it like he countered it, and Barrett sold death. So it just looked really bad. It was a botch. It was a bad one. It really was. Then Cole says everyone is eagerly waiting for when Sheamus cashes in his Money in the Bank, and I typed, literally no one is waiting for Sheamus to cash in. Literally no one cares. Then there's a spot on the outside where Cesaro gorilla presses Neville and throws him outside onto Barrett and Sheamus. And I think that it's really interesting how much they love having Cesaro matched up with smaller guys who can work, because they put him in these ridiculous spots that look pretty cool, like that one. So I thought it was nice. Then there's a weird I don't even know what to call it. Sheamus knocks Neville into the ropes and then grabs him by his head, just grabs his head. The referee tells Sheamus to stop it. Sheamus turns around and blocks the referee's view. Barrett hits Neville with a bull hammer, and essentially, Sheamus gets the win. So Neville eats another L. What are we doing with Neville? What are we doing? He deserves so much better. What are we doing with Neville? The guy can work. The guy, puts on great matches. I mean, what are we doing with him? We're giving him jobber entrances and letting him get beaten every week. It's awful. It's awful. It's so bad. Anyway, I would give this match like a 6 out of 10. There were some cool spots in it. That's all I can say. It was whatever, I guess. Then we get a Roman Reigns promo. He actually brings up Anyone But You, which is something I mentioned last week that we haven't really heard much from since the feud started. So I appreciated him bringing it full circle. Then he brings up the title, to which I heard some groans from the crowd. I didn't mind him bringing up the title. I thought it was fine. But I heard a lot of groans in the crowd, so I guess people still don't want him to hold the title, which I don't mind if he does, but I guess people care. Honestly, shake it up. Something different would be fine. If Roman held the title, he could do something good with it. I mean, this is boring as shit right now. So, I mean, give Roman the title. It might actually do something for you. Anyway, the what chance, Roman says, what, y'all can't hear me or something? And I laughed. I thought it was funny. You really don't want to bring up or even acknowledge the crowd half the time that you're out there, but I thought he did a good job, and he shut him up for a moment. And then he got booed out of the building because he had to recap his whole entire feud with Bray for months. Creative and the writing staff sent him out there to cut a long-winded promo about the feud that he's been in for months. Please, God, tell me why. Please. Did they just tell him to go out and commit suicide? That was. Why would they ever do that? Lance Storm tweeted out. If you guys don't know who Lance Storm is, then you haven't been watching wrestling very long. Lance Storm is very respected in the wrestling communities. He worked in the WWE for a long time. Anyway, Lance Storm tweeted out something about. What did he say? I've got it in my notes somewhere. Let me see what he said. He said, making guys go out there to narrate and explain their angles is death. And I completely agree. It's death. It's awful. Don't do that, please. Ever again. They forced Roman to go out there and explain his whole entire feud with Bray and to recap everything, and it was just so bad. So, Bray comes out. I forgot to mention one thing before this happened. They did a small segment, another payday segment, because I guess it's their only sponsor tonight. They did a small segment talking about Xavier Woods' YouTube channel and how he loves video games and things. And to be honest, throughout most of this, I was watching Xavier Woods' YouTube channel, and it's fantastic. If you guys don't know what it is, I think it's up, up, down, down. If you guys like The New Day and you like Xavier Woods, this guy's great, dude. He's hilarious. So I would go check that out. I actually got caught up watching it a couple of times throughout the night because it was the only way that I could keep my sanity through watching Raw. Anyway, Roman cuts a promo on this whole entire feud, which is just fucking cancer, and it's awful. If WWE really wants to fight cancer, they should fight these promos that they keep giving Roman because they're bad. And they're very predictable and stupid. So, Roman gets a boring chant. Creative and writing are pretty much killing Roman off, and I said, poor Roman. This feud sucks. It could have been much better. Roman's lines are too scripted and predictable. Bray Wyatt cut a little promo in there. I didn't listen because I was watching Xavier Woods. I assumed the match started. I didn't even realize that. Honestly, I didn't even realize that Bray said anything or cut a promo at all. So, yeah. But Roman's lines are too scripted and predictable, and they need to let him talk less. They need to let him talk less. Please. He's not a guy that can go out there and talk for 10 minutes like Cena. He can't do it. He can't. You need to have him say one or two words or lines and then let him fight somebody. That's what Roman's for. I think, he said a line like, anyone but you at Hell in a Cell, you're going to wish it was anybody but me or something like that. And I was like, I just shook my head. I was like, oh, God. And it's just awful writing. The writing's so bad. Anyway, the first thing I wrote was Strowman looks great. Actually, the first thing I wrote was that I missed parts of this because I was watching Xavier Woods on YouTube. So I missed the first part of this match. I don't know what happened. Strowman looked great. When I looked up, he was killing Roman. His shirt looks like a woman's tank top to me, which is weird because it covers up his chest. It's really awkward. It's a really awkward shirt that he has. I don't understand why they didn't just put him in a shirt instead of a tight fitting dry fit tank top shirt. It's a really weird look. Looks really weird. So him yelling at Roman I thought was fantastic. When he was just screaming at Roman Reigns laying down, his voice is so intimidating that it's really great. This was probably my favorite match of the night due to the fact that it actually told a story. It was probably the only match in the whole show that told a story. And it was a simple story. It was, okay, Roman Reigns is fighting a big monster guy. The big monster guy is beating up Roman. The babyface comes back and fights back, and that was the story. But it's a story. It's something. It's not just they're going out there and having a wrestling match. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. It was at least a story. And as simple as it is, it was something. So I didn't hate it. Next up, we had Roman slamming Strowman's head, I believe, on the table on the monitors. It actually looked really good because the monitor was sitting right underneath where he was slamming his head, so it actually made it look like he was slamming his head on the monitors, which was actually nice. Roman hits Strowman with a Superman punch and knocks him over the announce table, and Roman wins by countout. I don't mind this finish because it doesn't make Strowman look weak. He got his head bashed against the announce table for I think 5 or 6 times, and then Superman punched over the announce table. It was essentially a very cheesy way to win because you had Strowman outside for very long, and then you were able to weaken him just enough to where you could slide in a 9 count, and I thought that was good. I thought it actually told a nice story of how Roman couldn't beat him safe, so he had to couldn't beat him clean, so he had to just slide into the ring and get a count out victory. But wins and losses don't matter in the WWE, so I don't know why he cares about winning. But yeah, I said I didn't mind that ending. I put match of the night ? Because I wasn't sure, but now I'm pretty sure that was probably the match of the night. Husky Harris chants happened, and I was thinking the whole time, I was like, really? We're doing Husky Harris chants at Bray Wyatt? I mean, this guy's earned it, This guy's earned the respect to not ever get called Husky Harris again. And they called him Husky Harris tonight, and it really bothers me when they do that because he's earned at the very least to not be called that again. I mean, he's earned it. Truly, he's earned it. Because he's been through so much shit already on the main roster that they honestly, I mean, what more do you want from the guy? He does his best with what they give him. They give him Roman Reigns, somebody that the crowd doesn't even want to cheer for. I mean, come on now. You're going to really, really grill Bray Wyatt right there in that spot. Anyway, it was whatever. Roman punched him in his face as Bray Wyatt was just kneeling down and saying follow the buzzards, and Roman punched him. It was fine. It was a cool ending, I guess. It was whatever. Then I said there's still another fucking hour of this because I was just ready for it to be over, and I looked at the time, and there was still another hour left, and I was sad immediately because I was like, why is this so long? Why is Raw so long? It doesn't need to be this long. Next up we had, oh my god, we had an awkward segment with Rusev and Summer Rae shown. Oh no, Ryback had a jobber entrance. I forgot to mention that. Ryback, the number one contender for the IC title, gets a jobber entrance. He's wearing a pink attire, and it looks pretty cool, but he gets a jobber entrance. So, this whole story with Rusev needs to die. I hope this is the end. There was an awkward segment with Rusev and Summer Rae last week. It was awkward when it happened, and it's still awkward now that we know that Lana and Rusev are engaged. This whole story just needs to end, and let Rusev and Lana just do their thing together like they did. This feud was so pointless the whole time. It was destined to fail from the start because you had Dolph Ziggler as one of the main focal points of the feud who wasn't even there for the most part for the whole thing. This feud needs to die. It has to die. It was so bad from the start, and the commentary was making it so much worse talking about it, acting like they were, I don't know, on television or whatever. It just was bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. Then Rusev starts beating up Ryback a little bit, and he tries to go for a pin. He goes for a pin, and he puts his foot on the ropes. And Ryback kicks out, and the referee sees him. The referee says, you can't do that. And he looks at him, and I said he looks like a disappointed father would look. And I thought that was just really strange. I thought it was stupid how he looked at Rusev like that. I was like, what are you doing? Essentially, Ryback squashed Rusev in 5 minutes with a shell shock. What are they doing to Rusev? He was a monster that would never lose, and now he's getting squashed in 5-minute matches. Then we have a segment afterwards where Summer Rae says, let me show you all the kind of man that Rusev is. And she shows the images from TMZ. So, first of all, let me say this. So many things happen, like maybe John Cena being together or being involved with Nikki Bella on Total Divas. So many things happen outside of the WWE that we don't talk about. Why can't this be one of them? Why couldn't this just be something that we don't mention? That we just no-sell? Because you break kayfabe this way. This is just completely breaking kayfabe and saying, oh, you're actually together? Wow, how could you do this? It's like, well, because this isn't real and they're together in real life. It's actually real. So for me, it just was a way for them to break kayfabe even more, which just sucks. So Summer Rae bitches at Rusev and berates him, and then she slaps him in the face, and then she walks out. So Summer Rae gets over. So out of this whole feud, the payoff was Summer Rae gets over. That's the only person that's gotten over in this feud. Lana didn't get over. Rusev definitely didn't get over. Dolph Ziggler could care less about this feud. And Summer Rae gets over. Because she's the last one standing. This feud needs to die. We need to get as far away from this feud as possible and just forget it ever happened. Please. This was awful. The one thing that I wrote was, out of all the times throughout this feud that it would have been perfect for Lana to come out and beat up Summer Rae, this would have been the time. This would have been the only time that I would have loved to have seen the cat fight between Lana and Summer Rae, and of course it didn't happen. The only time it was actually right for them to do that. it. Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Anyway, next up we have one of my favorite matches of the night, which is Owens versus Kalisto. Kevin Owens comes out. Kalisto's already in the ring. He gets the jobber entrance. This is one of the only stories on the roster, which is hilarious to me. This is one of the only stories that they've been building is Owens versus the Lucha Dragons, because it's happened 2 weeks in a row. Owens at one point yells at Cole and says, "How am I doing?" or something like that. "Do you like that?" or something like that. And then Cole says, "You're doing great, buddy." I was like, what the heck is happening? The most enjoyable moment of the night was Kevin Owens knocking Kalisto out of the ring, running up like he's going to do a suicide dive. The crowd pops huge for it because they think he's actually going to do a suicide dive. Then he slides under the ropes and punches Kalisto in the face. Kevin Owens is out of control. He honestly is out of control. He's completely OD'd. He's out of control. It was great. It was great. Kalisto gets some offense on Owens, and it actually looks believable. I wish they hadn't stuck him with Sin Cara. I wish they would have given him the Rey Mysterio treatment and had him actually be somebody. Because Kalisto getting up offense on Owens actually looked believable and good. Which is a shame that he's with Sin Cara. Kalisto's offense looked believable, and then he goes for a top rope Hurricanrana in which Owens catches him, and he hits the ground, and then Owens lifts him up for a powerbomb, and it's probably one of the most disgusting powerbombs you're ever going to see. It actually looked really good. I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh my goodness. Because that was just a really strong-looking powerbomb. It actually looked great. Kalisto's completely dead in the ring and loses. So, then we have the Divas again, so I wrote 3 dots after Divas because I'm getting tired of the Divas. I am. I really am. And I wish I wasn't, but I am. It's just, the stories don't make any sense. It's just not any good anymore. And it hasn't been good for a long time. Charlotte and Becky versus Brie and Alicia with Paige on commentary. And the first thing I wrote was that they ruined Paige's quote-unquote angle. If she ever had an angle at any point throughout this, they've ruined it. Because now she just seems like a jealous bitch. That's all she looks like now. She just looks jealous and saying, "Oh no, me and my girls didn't break up. We're still good. We're still together." It's like, no, you're not. You what? So now she essentially seems jealous, like she is the one that's. I don't even know what to say about this. I have no words. It's stupid. She's basically saying that she's the one that started the Divas Revolution, which I would agree with. I'd say that she did, because she's the one that wanted change. So she initiated change. Then she says that Charlotte and Becky are just going through a phase and that they'll come back to her. And she just sounds jealous. That's not the angle they should have gone with. They should have gone with, I don't need a team. I can do this by myself. This is not a revolution because nothing's changed. It's still the same old, same old. But no, they just have her seem jealous. Then I wrote, why is Paige in a bra for commentary? Why can't she just be wearing normal person clothes for commentary? I know she's a diva and she needs to be wearing the skimpy outfit, but there's no need for that. There's no need for her to be wearing the skimpy outfit. She's on commentary. She's not going to do anything. So that bothered me a little bit. So Paige jumps up and starts pushing Natalya, who was out there with Charlotte and Becky. She was out there with Charlotte and Becky, so Paige goes and pushes her. I didn't get it. I mean, the pushing didn't look believable. It didn't look like they actually wanted to push each other. It looks like they had to. Charlotte then hits Brie with a big boot. It's the first thing I wrote about in the whole entire match. Charlotte hits Brie with a big boot. It actually looked really good. Then with Brie in the corner, Becky punched her for no reason at all. She starts hitting Brie for no reason. There's literally zero reason for her to do that. She did. Becky was down at the apron to get Paige, and then she just walks by Brie and starts hitting her. It's not in her character. It's not in her gimmick. She just walks by and hits her, knowing that it's illegal. Knowing that she's not the legal person in the match. So the faces pull a heel move and start hitting the person in the corner. What? That doesn't make any sense. Then, with the distraction that Becky provides, Nikki punches Charlotte in the face, and then Brie wins the match with a missile dropkick. I just don't get it. Dolph Ziggler can't beat Cena with a super kick plus eye rake, but the Divas champion gets beat with a dropkick. Why are the Bellas winning any matches? I can't do this. I can't. It's so bad, guys. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's really bad. So, I just really want to skip. I'm just going to skip over the rest. I had a lot typed in that I wanted to rant about, but who cares anymore? The Divas, if they're not going to book them right, then why should we care? Anyway, there was another Lesnar vignette, which is it's overkill at this point. It's overkill. Then we get a Seth Rollins backstage package in which he's talking to the Big Show saying, you need to help me out, man. You know, we're friends, right? And all this stuff. And the Big Show just kind of laughs it off and walks away. It's the first time we've seen the champion all night. The champion, the main focal point of the whole company. It's the first time we've seen him all night. That was a problem. Do you think during John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold's title reigns that we never saw them until the very end of the show? Not one time? It's a problem. It was a problem. So, we get started with the Lumberjack match. Now comes the New Day and Kevin Owens and Rusev. I don't want to see any of them anywhere near this. First of all, Owens and New Day are champions. And Rusev shouldn't be out there because he just shouldn't care about this. Rusev should be like, no, I'm going home. That's the way it should have been. But unfortunately, that's not how it went. Rusev, New Day, and Owens were all out there. And Byron Saxton says that Seth... Oh, I forgot about this. There's a backstage segment in which the Authority finally find out that Kane is the one that's going to be fighting Seth Rollins tonight. And they say, you better not go out there, Kane. You better not fight Seth Rollins tonight, or blah, blah, blah. It was just... you know what's going to happen. They were going to say that, and then Corporate Kane was going to turn into Demon. Guys, it's just the same stuff. Byron Saxton says, oh, Seth playing for Corporate Kane. Now imagine what he's thinking. It's like, what? What? He should have... Why would he not expect Demon Kane? That's the only person that ever goes out there and fights is Demon Kane. Why would he go fight him as Corporate Kane anyway? Corporate Kane doesn't have a problem with Seth. Demon Kane does. Right? Isn't that the feud that we're building? Is that Corporate Kane's pretty much just Corporate Kane? Doesn't have a problem with anybody. He's happy, smiling all the time. And then Seth is the guy that irks him enough to turn into quote-unquote Demon Kane. Guys, it's just so convoluted. It really is. And it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Cole says he did not expect this tonight. And I'm thinking, what did he expect? What? Then Kane rolls out of the ring, or gets thrown out of the ring, and Rusev and Owens are cowering in fear of a 45-year-old Kane. Not they backed up and said, go ahead and get back in there, dude. They cowered in fear of him. They cowered in fear of a 45-year-old man dressed up in a Demon Kane costume. This is why I didn't want them out there, because it makes them look stupid. Stupid. Anyway, then I put hashtag racist Kane because he took out the whole New Day and they didn't even do anything. He rolls out of the ring on the other side, and there's Xavier Woods, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and then Big Show are all just standing out there. Everybody backs off, and Xavier Woods is like, "No, man, we're good. We're good." Then Kane just turns and punches Xavier Woods, knocks him out. Then he hits Big E, knocks him out, and then he hits Kofi, knocks him out. And I'm like, what? Why'd he do that? So I put a hashtag racist Kane. It's just a joke, obviously, but still, I mean, it was weird because they were just telling him, you're good, dude. Get back in the ring. We're not going to do anything. And then he just hits him. I didn't understand. Then the Big Show and Kane have a moment in which the crowd, for some reason, sounded like they popped a little. I don't know. I don't know if it was just booing or cheering because it was just like awful, or I don't know. It was bad. Big Show and Kane are two 45-year-old men at the least. I think they might be older than that, who have had way too much TV time over the past year or two, who should probably be off TV since they're not very interesting. They're pretty boring and generic guys now. But they have a spot in the main event, in which the Big Show KO punches Kane. Kane rolls into the ring, or Big Show rolls Kane into the ring and he walks away to a pretty mixed reaction, I guess. And then Kane gets pinned by Rollins. 1-2, Kane kicks out, and then the Lumberjacks all fight outside. I didn't get why. They just all started fighting. Because I guess if you have so many people out there fighting, then whatever. So there was a weird pause in between everything that happened, and it was a loud booming sound. I thought maybe somebody hit something wrong, and then everybody kind of paused and looked around and then kept going. It was a really weird spot because it was so chaotic anyway, and then for everybody to just stop at the same time and then look around, it just really made it look rough and made it look bad. Then all the heels attack Kane in the middle of the ring, which I was fine with. Then all the faces coming after for the save, and they come in like an hour late, and I was like, you guys couldn't have been selling that attack for that long. Kane chokeslams Stardust and Xavier Woods. Poor Stardust and poor Xavier Woods. I guess Cosmic Wasteland isn't a thing. I guess they're just not going anywhere with Stardust's character because they've completely buried him now by having him be chokeslammed by Kane. Xavier Woods, man, this guy is just he just gets trashed. I'm sure he doesn't mind because he's, a part of the hottest thing in the company right now. So for him to get chokeslammed by Kane is probably an honor, since he's probably never even been in the ring with Kane before, if I can remember correctly. So, I'm sure that he's, him and Glenn have a great relationship, whatever. It was just weird that he chokeslammed them, out of all people, that they were the ones that he got. I don't know. Obviously, the WWE saw them as the people with the least amount of heat to lose. So poor Stardust is what I wrote. And then Kane beats our champion with a tombstone. How are we supposed to get invested in Seth if he doesn't ever win any matches? We can't actually get invested in Seth as a champion if he doesn't ever win. I just want all this to be over. I want Seth and Kane to be over. I want new storylines. I just want something else. The only storyline that progressed tonight was Owens versus the Lucha Dragons. And maybe Roman versus Bray. That was it. No more storyline progression. When's the last time there was a meaningful story that happened on Raw? A meaningful promo that actually helped progress a story. I can't remember the last time, guys. It's been rough. This is probably one of the worst draws that we've had in a very long time. And I can't say that I understand why. Because last week's Raw was actually not that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. This Raw was bad. I forgot to give some ratings up here. Let me go ahead and do that. Once I get going, it's hard for me to stop. So we had the Dudleys versus the Ascension. I give that like a 5 out of 10. It did its job. It got the Dudleys over if they really needed it. Sheamus and Barrett versus Cesaro and Neville, I give it a 6 out of 10. Some of the stuff they did was cool. I hate that Neville had to lose. I didn't feel like he needed to. Roman Reigns' promo, I'll give a 4 out of 10 or maybe a 3 because booking just killed him. Actually, I'll give him a 3 for sure. I'll give him a 3. The match itself, I'll give a 6 or 7. No, I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. It was a good match. It was solid. It did what it was supposed to do, and I thought it was fine. I thought it was match of the night, so there you go. The Rusev and Summer Rae thing. Or actually, Rusev versus Ryback, 3. Because first of all, Rusev shouldn't be getting crushed by Ryback, because Rusev shouldn't be getting crushed by anybody. And on top of that, it was a 5-minute match. With a guy like Rusev that should be getting pushed. It was just bad. The segment afterwards, I'm not even gonna rate. What was next? The Divas. Oh Jesus. No, it was Owens and Kalisto. Okay, I'll give that one a 7 too. I thought that was a good match. It was fun, and it was 5 minutes also, and it was a squash match, but it should have been because it's Kalisto. You haven't booked this guy to be strong ever. You've booked Rusev to be strong before. Now you're gonna book him to get squashed. So, yeah. Owens and Kalisto get a 7. Charlotte and Becky versus Brie and Alicia, I'm gonna give it a 3 as well. Because you let your Divas champion get beat by a dropkick, you had no build up to the story in this match at all. It was just a big clusterfuck. Nothing looked good. It was just bad, guys. It was just really bad. This is a bad match. It was just bad. It was just bad. Then the lumberjack match, I'll give a 6 out of 10. It was at least, I don't even know. Was it entertaining at all? Maybe not. I thought the New Day part was funny when Kane beat them all up for no reason. That was funny. Other than that, I didn't think it was any good. So this is gonna be a really short Raw review. It's about an hour and 10 minutes, I guess. It's short because there's not much to talk about. It was just a boring Raw. And it sucks because they've got the talent on the roster. They've got the people that they need to actually put on good shows, and they just don't put on good shows. And it's laziness in the booking. It's laziness in the company because they don't really care. They're going to get their sponsorships either way. So why do we care? If their biggest moment in the night was John Cena versus Ziggler, then what's the point? I mean, if you're going to build up your United States champion to be a bigger star than your world heavyweight champion, then why are we even watching? I don't know. It's the same stuff every week. This week was just worse than last week. So my final verdict and rating for the show is a 4 out of 10. It was very hard to get through. I found myself looking at the time as I was watching this and saying, God, there's still that much longer left. That's a bad sign. When you can't even get people who review wrestling to watch your product throughout the whole entire show, or to want to watch your product through the whole show, it puts you in a really bad spot as a company. And I am very, very upset, disappointed rather, with how this Raw was, because I thought it should have been much better. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy the review, make sure you leave a like, make sure that you comment and subscribe if you are new. We will have a Hell in a Cell review when it happens. We will have another Raw review. If NXT is really good, then we'll have an NXT review on Thursday. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next review. I'm out.